Hi Dolphins, my name is Chrissy Angeles. I am a career peer mentor at the Career Development and Alumni Engagement Center, and I'm a psychology and sociology double major. As a senior, I learned a lot of things during the past 4 years. It can be overwhelming to start at a 4-year university as a freshman, but I found that setting goals for each semester can help you navigate your journey through college, and developing a prototype plan can help. The goal of prototypes is to test out an idea to see if it works. Your prototyping will help you really understand if that career path or major is a great fit. Remember to reframe the problem. It's not a failure. It is an opportunity to test out and brainstorm what to do next. And so this is just an example of a prototype. So this is my personal prototype. So I am a psychology and sociology student that is interested in research, counseling, and healthcare. So I have my 4 years planned out here with some highlights. So first, my freshman year was a little wonky at the beginning. I came in during the fall of 2016, but I had to take a semester off for personal health reasons. Sometimes life happens, and that's totally okay to put your physical health first and to take care of yourself. So when I came back in the fall, I listed the goals I want to achieve during that year. So some of the goals include becoming familiar with services offered to students. Such services that are offered are like utilizing a librarian or just being familiar with tutoring services if you need help for any of your classes. And my second goal was to just visit a professor or two during their office hours. So it can be intimidating to talk to a professor at first, but it doesn't have to be something so serious. It could just be saying hi or just getting to know them and asking about their day. So after going through my first year of college, I think I found my footing and became more comfortable as a student at Channel Islands. So during my second year, I decided to explore other resources and opportunities that were available to students. For me, personally, I did not have any job experience, and nor did I work during high school. So I wanted to make a decision to just become familiar with what's it like to apply for a job and to get some job experience. And the way I did that was by visiting the Career Center for Career Support to apply for my first on-campus job to get some experience. And also during that year, I was also able to develop some close connection with a few professors from my freshman year and through the classes I was currently taking that year. And also, if you haven't taken a look at any student support services or other resources, feel free to just look around and explore. And even if you don't use them, you don't know if you will need them in the future or if you need to refer someone who might need them. And so during my junior year, which was during the spring and fall 2019, this is when it got a lot busier for me. So this is when you usually start taking your upper division required classes, and these can be a little challenging, but it's an overall good experience just to expose yourself to what your major is about. And at this point, you don't necessarily have to join a club to be considered like a college student. As an introvert, I found it very intimidating to like join a club, and most of the time I don't really know anyone. But around this time, after taking a couple classes and meeting people through my classes who were also taking the same classes as me because we were the same major, I was able to become more comfortable, and this is when I decided to join a club. But if you already have joined a club earlier, that's totally fine too. This is where you can start stepping out of your comfort zone, so at this point you can probably join a club if you haven't already, or apply for an officer position to obtain leadership skills. And also during your junior year, you can also start asking professors if you can assist them with their research, network them with if you can. You never know if they might know of something that can help you in the future, like a job or just any other research opportunities, and they most definitely can write you a letter of recommendation in the future. And also be sure to research the fields that you're interested in and connect with mentors. So these could be former classmates or professors, or anyone like that. And as for my senior year, which I am currently in, we're just wrapping up your required classes and electives. You're almost there. And also Participate in any research opportunities with your professors if you can, especially if you're considering graduate school. And also, don't forget to visit the Career Center to develop a professional and academic network. The Career Center is a great resource that you can use all throughout your 4 years. You can learn how to network, conduct informational interviews just to meet mentors and alumni in the fields that you're interested in. So this is just my overall 4-year prototype plan throughout college, and I'm going to pass it over to Gabriella.
Hi everyone. First I wanted to say welcome to CI. My name is Gabriella and I'm a 4th-year organizational communication major. I'm going to talk about a few things that brought me to where I am today. I went from thinking I wanted to be an event planner to career counselor to finally landing on recruiting. This is a visual slide of my prototype plan. Let me walk you through it, beginning with my freshman year. I was undeclared and had no idea what I wanted to do. At this point, I was really looking for something to pour my energy into. I was very involved in high school and was looking for a club or organization that would offer me that same sense of achievement. I was lucky enough to find the communication club from one of my professors mentioning it in class. This class happened to be my first ever communication course, and I immediately fell in love. I had no idea this was even something you could study. Taking a variety of courses my freshman year and discovering some of my passions really set me up for success. This class introduced me to the Communication Club, the Career Center where I later applied to work, and the entire communication major. My sophomore year, I was super excited to be the event planner for the Communication Club and work on campus. I took all the skills I was able to learn while working at the Career Center and applied them to work I was doing in and out of the classroom. I started to build my resume with planning and collaboration skills. I did not know back then that I was networking. Looking back, I got to form relationships with so many other students, professors, and community members. My junior year, I was lucky enough to study abroad in Germany. This experience was truly eye-opening as I had never been out of the country before. I learned how to adapt to new situations and become a good listener since I did not speak German upon arrival. I learned to listen carefully, use physical gestures, nonverbal cues, and to be concise in my communication. This is still useful today because it helps me read between the lines and connect with people on a deeper level. During my final year at CSUCI, I came back excited to work as a career peer mentor and made sure to participate in as many on-campus events as possible. I attended the Career and Internship Fair in the fall and secured an internship from an employer I met at the Career Fair. I also did a lot of informational interviews that helped me pinpoint the industry I wanted to go into. I was able to connect with CI alumni on Dolphin Connect, CI's very own networking platform. The key takeaways from my story is it's okay to not know what your major is or what you want to do exactly, because with time you will figure it out by trying new classes and participating in clubs and just putting effort into figuring out your values and interests. Give yourself time to decide what you want to do. Remember, no one's career path is linear. We each have our own unique path to success.
Hi Dolphins, my name is Amanda Dudley. I am a career peer mentor at the Career Development Center. I am a graduating senior this spring 2020, and I just wanted to share a little glimpse of my work and involvement experience over the past few years. So I started off as a freshman in fall of 2015. That first year I worked part-time. I was going to school full-time. I applied for a job at the Camarillo outlet. It was a great way to get involved in sales experience, learn how to be very diligent and organized and quick on your feet. My actual very first work experience was an intern at 15 for Lulu Washington Dance Theater that I got through a foster youth program I was involved in. During my sophomore year, I did change my major to a global studies major because my focus was shifting and I felt that those needs were not being met as a communication major. I decided I worked the summer before at Amazon as a factory worker full-time in order to make ends meet and pay a deposit down on my roommates and I first apartment. Once school started, I took a job at Big Lots working morning and afternoon shifts part-time. Adjusting it to my schedule, I was still a full-time student. That same year, I was really looking for a challenge. The courses I was taking in global studies really piqued my interest in study abroad. I chose to do the year-long program in Ghana. Best investment experience I had definitely during my undergraduate career. Highly recommend it. I studied international politics there. I worked with a grassroots organization called Spread Out Initiative, helping youth in the community learn technological skills, and we worked on films of topics of their choice. When I returned home, I was a peer mentor for the African American Enrichment Academy during the summer, and the end of that summer, I worked at the Career Center. So far, from what I told you, I can say that there will be jobs you do to make ends meet, and that is okay, especially when you're starting out, because you will have other priorities at the time. I think if you do not have the time or the means for a full-time, part-time position, I highly recommend joining clubs on campus, accessible, and also volunteering when possible. We do have those resources at the Career Center to help you. During my senior years, I did take 2 years to finish the last of my graduation requirements. I was a career peer mentor. I completed another summer internship with Women of Substance, Men of Honor, working with youth that have other former foster youth like myself and youth that have a criminal past. And as you can see, like during my end of my sophomore year, heading into my senior years, I was definitely focusing more on community-based work, working with others. That's always been a part of my identity. So as I became more confident in my skills in the workplace, I was pursuing different opportunities than just sales positions because I felt I was in that position to do so. And I strongly recommend the same for you when you're approaching your senior year, to start looking for more focused job opportunities, and the Career Development Center, your professors are great places to start looking for that. I spent this last semester of mine, spring 2020, working more on my personal brand, and this is something I would not worry about as a freshman yet, just because a personal brand is basically figuring out who you are at this moment, what do you care about, and what skills do you have, and how can you clearly communicate that visually and through your work ethic to employers in your network. Currently, I did apply for and was accepted into graduate school. I was accepted into 2 separate graduate schools. The only reason I applied was just on a whim to see if what would happen. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to go to graduate school. I wasn't sure if I was good enough for graduate school. But trust me, if you talk to your counselors, talk to your mentors, because that reassurance from them is definitely helpful when you're taking on or considering such big steps post-graduation, like graduate school or not graduate school. With that being said, because of COVID, I am strongly considering taking a gap year, just because that is what is within my means right now, and what's best for me. That's pretty much it. My 5 years at CI have been great. I do think that working at the Career Center really elevated my goals. I wasn't looking for to have a career that was fulfilling. I just was expecting to have a career to make ends meet my whole life. And I think talking with the career counselors at the Career Center really allowed me to see that because of the experiences I had and because of what I had done for work or volunteer, etc., I really was capable of finding a job in the future or soon after graduation that would be fulfilling for me and wouldn't just be me making the ends meet. And I wish that for all of you freshmen, when you get to that stage in your life, I do recommend, as of right now, do reach out to the Career Development Center, maybe during your second semester when you're more comfortable with campus and your school schedule, in order to take career assessments, take your personality assessments. They're really fun. They won't solve all your life problems. They won't figure out everything for you, but they are a great starting point. Do what is within your means. Volunteer if working part-time is not easily accessible for you. Volunteer, join clubs on campus. If they're virtual, just participate where you feel comfortable. And yeah, I wish you all the best. During this time, you can do it. Don't be discouraged. There will be ups and downs. As you can see, you will change your mind. More opportunities will come up. Embrace them. Try to be true to yourself the best you can, and do always, every now and then, reach out to a mentor, counselor, and speak your thoughts out loud about where you want to go and where you see yourself now, so someone else can give you realistic tips on how to get where you want to go. With that being said, I wish you the best in this year and the years going forward, and have a good day.